Order, order. Hello and welcome to another episode of Reporters Without Orders, a podcast where we discuss what made news, what did not, and what absolutely should not have. I am your host Pratyush, and today we are joined by Rokibuz Zaman, reporter with Scroll.in, who covers Northeast. He is joining from Assam, and my colleague Drishti from our studio in Delhi. So Drishti and Rokibuz, welcome to Reporters Without Orders. Rokibuz, how's the weather there?
The weather is very nice today because of some cyclone effect. It's cloudy and overcast in Guwahati. So there is a forecast that there may be rain in Guwahati in the next 2 days. So it will be the last leg of rainfall before the one set of winter here in Northeast.
Okay, so you're having good weather, but in Delhi, we are suffocating in pollution.
Exact opposite of what he just said.
Yeah, and my colleague Drishti has done a very detailed piece on the pollution in Delhi. So she has covered it very extensively. She has audited the whole pollution. And Drishti Rokibuz has been covering Northeast and Assam for last 3-4 years. And he has been doing some great work. He has been covering the citizenship issue in the state for quite a long time. So we'll be discussing with Rokibuz about the recent Supreme Court judgment on the 6A of the Citizenship Act. He's doing a story on the same. So he will be discussing the impact of this judgment on the politics of Assam and the whole citizenship crisis in the state. And we'll be speaking to you about the pollution in Delhi and why Delhi and the state government and as well as the central government has failed to tackle the situation despite many efforts and many judgments, and we all know pollution is a issue every year this time. So I would like to start with Rokibuz. So the Supreme Court judgment on 6A, Section 6A of Citizenship Act has made headline last week, and it is discussed in many platforms, many media organizations as well. So you are from Assam. You have been covering the citizenship issue for quite a long time. So you told us you were also working on a story on the Section 6A of this judgment, basically on the judgment. So can you tell us what is the significance of the judgment in the whole citizenship issue, especially in Assam?
So one of the main takeaways from the judgment is that it basically it maintains the status quo in Assam. Who will be the citizen, who will be Indian in Assam. So basically, it has upheld the 6A of the Citizenship Act, which basically says that 1971 March 24 is the cutoff date. Basically to determination of citizen in Assam. So Assam has seen a waves of migration before independence, and both Muslims and the Bengali from Bangladesh. And because of that, the Assamese people were anxious about that they will be that migration is seen as a threat to the native culture and also the identity. That anxiousness had led to the Assam movement in 79. So the culmination of the accord is culmination of the movement is the Assam Accord, and which was held by the historic accord by the Assamese nationalist groups like ASU and other groups. So basically, the Supreme Court basically says that upheld the constitutional validity of the 6A.
Right.
This means that the cutoff date is 1971 March 24, and basically it's huge relief for the migrants, especially Muslims and Hindu migrants, the refugees who came during 1950s and 1960s. So, if according to the Bengali Hindu Bengali organizations and even also the Muslim organizations, the cutoff date was altered, and some of the demands were that it should be 1951. If it would have happened, and it would have been very catastrophic for this category of people, those who came between 1951 to 71. those people would have been declared maybe illegal.
Right.
And that would be catastrophic, because these people already declared Indian by as per the issue of 6A and the Assam Accord.
Right.
Yeah, this is one of the key takeaways from the judgment.
So
Yeah.
you are in Assam, and so what is the what is the different political groups like All Assam Student Union, Muslim student unions, AMSU is there. So and obviously BJP there. So a lot of political organizations are there who who have different ideological leanings and take on the whole Assam Accord as well as the citizenship issues. So what is the reaction from this different nationalist and nationalist group, Assamese nationalist group, to this verdict of the Supreme Court? And what is the what do you see the political because we know that citizenship is the main political issue in the state. So in that context, so what is the current political impact of the judgment?
Most of the political parties and Assamese nationalist groups, mainly the ASU, they have welcomed that the court has maintained 1971 as a cut-off date.
Right.
So one point I have to make it clear that even the government, both center and the state, they are in favor of 1971. They've submitted that 1971 should be the cut-off date, and even the ASU. This is the unlikely allies. That's what one of the thing, because all the parties like Jamiat, AMSU, and ASU, and even the governments, both center and state, they were in favor of 71. But now the demands of the people, the nationalist groups, they want the re-verification of the NRC, which was updated, closely monitored, and Supreme Court mandated National Register of Citizens,
right,
and closely monitored by the Supreme Court. So, but despite its publication in 2019, the NRC has not been notified by the center. That's RGI, Register General of India. They should notify it, and it can go to the next steps.
Right.
But because the Assam government and the Assamese nationalist groups, they think that more people should be excluded from the NRC. So they want, that's why they want more, they want re-verification of the whole entire exercise. That's why now the demand is that the NRC should be verified. And also another fact is that the judgment the judgment is silent about the Citizenship Amendment Act 2019, basically, which allows non-Muslims, especially Hindu Bengalis and other non-Muslim communities, to get citizenship, eligible for, which makes eligible for the Indian citizenship till 2014.
Right.
This is the contradiction is there. Like 6A upheld the 1971 as a cut-off date, and 6A is religion neutral.
Right.
It means that anyone who comes after 1971, is deemed is considered illegal as per the 6A. But the Citizenship Amendment Act this contradicts this cut-off date, because it allows non-Muslims to apply for citizenship till 2014. So contradiction is there. So the Assamese national groups want CA to be scrapped because of this contradiction. And also there is another debate over who is an Assamese in Assam.
Okay.
Because they talk about clause 6 of Assam Accord, which talks about the constitutional safeguard of the Assamese people.
Right.
But there has been several attempts in the past to define the Assamese people. Even the MHA, the High Power Committee constituted by the Ministry of Home Affairs, they had submitted a report, and that report had said that 1951 should be the cut-off date for an Assamese.
Right.
So Assamese nationalist groups, they argued that the definition of Assamese should be 1951, because Assam has conceded. I I quoted, like they have considered, quote unquote, considered 20 years of burden.
Yeah.
Burden of migration, because they have took the burden of around 20 years of migration, like from 1951 to 71.
Correct.
Because they say that all India cutoff date is 1951, and it should be. That's why they basically accepted the migrants of 20 years. That's why there should be some sort of constitutional safeguards for the Assamese people.
Right.
So after this judgment, there are many opinions that the legal experts said that it basically clears two things, like who is an Indian in Assam, and anyone who was in Assam before 1971 is an Indian in Assam, and in India there is no dual citizens, or citizens cannot be discriminated based on different groups.
Right.
So there has to be an equal rights in terms of citizenships. So this is the contradictions. Some of the contradictions, like so we have to see like how it plays out in next few years. But some of the schemes and policies in Assam, the government of Assam, they're implementing some of the policies in related to lands, and they have said some criteria that a person has to be a person or their family or their ancestor has to be in the have possessed some sort of documents dated back to 1951 to get lands in Assam.
Right. We'll come to those other politics around this, the religion lines, which is always a part of the political, the narrative in Assam, like mostly after when BJP came to power during Sarbananda Sonowal's period, or even during the Himanta Biswa Sarma's period, it has been intensified. So as you have mentioned in your earlier, you were talking about how this judgment is going to have impact on NRC as well as the definition of Assamese for the national viewers. Can you just tell us the what would be the does this judgment have any direct impact on the NRC process? Because NRC has not been yet notified, and already 19 lakhs people has been excluded. So what exactly the impact? Now it has said that 1971 is the cutoff date, and NRC was updated based on the 1971 only.
Yeah.
So now it is clear that whoever has been left out or whoever has been included, so will it be the 19 lakh the final number, or you think the number will increase or number will decrease, or I wanted to understand from that perspective. Yeah.
So like you said that NRC is updated as per the 6A of the Citizenship Act. It is the cutoff date. Who can be included in the NRC, and it is basically Supreme Court mandated NRC. The whole process has been because of the directions and the Supreme Court orders, judgments. And, I don't think, this judgment will have any impact in the NRC, directly. It will be too early to say for me how it will going to impact the NRC. But, my only concern is that in the judgment, the majority judgment, they said that, there has been a large scale migration post 1971. And by saying so, they also directed that there should be court monitored implementation of the Supreme Court monitored implementation of the citizenship laws and detection of illegal migrations.
Right.
But I want to point out that it has been already being done by the Supreme Court itself. And the judgment didn't mention about that process, the NRC process, the whole NRC process. The government spent 1,600 crore to update this NRC, and it's the same government, under the same government, in center is BJP, and in state it's BJP government, and both the governments, the officials under them. Basically, their officials, their government, and under the monitoring of the Supreme Court. And that exercise excluded 19 lakh people. So, but the judgment is totally silent about this fact, and they didn't mention at all. I mean, in the direction that there is already a process, there is already a mechanism in place.
Right.
So, but I'm not sure like why the Supreme Court didn't mention about the NRC. And now they went ahead to say that there should be court monitored, implementation of this laws.
So there will be NRC 2 or what? NRC 2, like, there will be another NRC or what? Like already Supreme Court has monitored the whole NRC process. So now
that's why those who follow the citizenship laws in Assam. So this neglect of or the not mentioning of NRC while directing to monitor the implementation of the laws,
right,
is as viewed as or as seen as some a little bit of short-sighted.
Okay.
Why they are silent on NRC?
Right. They are considering it as a vague judgment or what? Like kind of vague. It need more specification.
There are two things like NRC, CAA. I mean, you have to take all this issue as a whole.
Right.
You cannot take these things separately. Even though it was not under the consideration of the Supreme Court whether CA is valid or not in this judgment, but I feel like it's all connected. When you talk about the migration, when you talked about citizenship issues in Assam,
right?
This whole foreigner tribunals, NRC, CAA, these are all connected. And we don't know what will happen to this 19 lakh people because since 2021, the Supreme Court hasn't heard the NRC matter. It has been like 3 years.
Right. As I also belong to the same state, and I do follow the politics out there. Like as you have rightly was saying about the recent the cabinet decision about so actually there is a cabinet decision where the under Basundhara 2.0 the Assam government has said there is a rule for 3 generation ownership, right?
Yes.
There is a rule
one generation means 25 years.
One generation means 25. So you have to show 75 years of ownership in on a land to claim the land rights. So in that case, they have excluded SC, ST, and Gurkhas, right? Gurkhas they have excluded.
Hindu Bengalis.
And Hindu Bengalis also. Yeah.
Yeah, those who have refugee certificate.
Yeah, those who have refused this certificate. So basically Hindu Bengalis. But they have, so it means that only Muslims have been left for this huge task of proving their land ownership for 75 years, which is very difficult. So in that case also there has been lot of, so if I see these activities of the government on the background, it really seems like BJP will play out on it in this judgment as well, or around this citizenship to play out give a communal whole narrative to the Assam narrative in the Assam politics. What do you think, Rokibuz? How is it playing out, the BJP and its role in using all this NRC to Biplab Sharma committee, as you have said, and but again this judgment may also be kind of they can put something else to give it a communal narrative to the whole thing.
The official response from the Chief Minister is that the judgment is not neither historic. I mean, he said that Assamese people have to continue to live move ahead through this struggle. I am not sure what he is talking about.
What did he say? He is positive to the judgment or he is not?
He accepted it because the government has accepted it.
Right.
Even on MP from Assam, this Mongoltoi MP, he said that Assam has to take the burden of 20 years of migrants. So he didn't support that. So there is contradiction among the BJPs, especially the state BJP and the central BJP leadership.
What is central BJP leadership is saying about the judgment?
They accepted it. I mean, because they have to accept it because they are the one who submitted, in favor of the affidavit in favor of the judgment.
Right.
But even though they think that they don't want, many people in Assam wanted 1951 as a cutoff date, but how conveniently they forget that the cutoff date has already been altered, and it has been made 2014.
Through CAA.
So yeah, so I mean, what does it mean? Like what they are trying to point out? They're trying to say that the illegal migrants belong to just one specific community. They're trying to portray that in Assam there is only one kind of migrants. This is my next story, like how Indian citizenship laws treat two different migrant communities separately.
Who are these two? One is the Hindu Bengalis and one is the Bengali Muslims.
The Muslim migrants, they arrived in Assam most of them before independence, and some are after independence also, because there is a Nehru Liaquat Act in 1950, because there is some excess of people. And there are riots, so that's why people fled to Bangladesh, and then they return to their homes in Assam. So those things are there. Most of the people came during 1930s, 40s, and before that also.
Okay.
So this contradicts, right? Like, so one of the core issue, the Muslims are now flagging that how this, FTs, foreigner tribunals, and the authorities are going after genuine Indian citizens. Like, even though they came before partition and they have solid papers, I mean, their names in the voter list, but they have to prove their citizenship before the courts, before the tribunals. Because it is the genuine Indians who have been, according to them, genuine Indians who have been put to citizenship test, and they have been sent to detention centers because of some small errors in the names, or they fail to prove their linkage with their parents, or some small mistakes in their names, surnames. And in this process, it's the women, basically the women who didn't went to the college schools at the time, who doesn't have educational certificates, who doesn't have a electoral role, because it's very, very difficult for a woman who get married before 18 to linkage with his parents,
right,
with their parents, because she doesn't have a school certificate, class 10 certificate, because in 1670s, the literacy among the women is very, very less, and they get married before 18. So by doing so, there is no documents which can prove that she is the daughter of her parents.
Yeah.
So this complexity is there. So that's why I'm saying that even though 1971 cutoff is there, the genuine Indians are being harassed because they feel that these people are migrants, and they had to prove their citizenship in the courts.
Correct.
So that's why my reports talk about there is in this judgment nothing changes on the ground, and there will be a status quo, and only the Muslims have to go to the tribunals. They have to prove their citizenships, because even the government of Assam, they have asked the border police not to refer the Hindu Bengalis to the new cases, obviously, to the foreigners tribunals this year.
Okay.
I think this in the notification issued on July 5.
Okay. So are still foreigners tribunals are they're still calling Muslim people still now?
Yeah. So basically, because of the NRC process was going on, according to the Chief Minister, this detection of so-called illegal immigrants was stopped, and so they have issued a new notification last month, asking the border police to detect and apprehend the declared foreigners who are absconding.
Okay.
So that's why now the number of inmates in detention center has also increased. It's now around 70, which was around declared foreigners. These are, which are around 17 people in April. So there is a steady increase in the inmates in the detention center. I'm talking about declared foreigners, not the refugees.
Okay, declared. So this has increased after the notice last month. right?
Yeah, there has been an steady increase in the last 2-3 months,
Okay,
and
okay.
new people are being sent notices. So that's my next story actually.
Okay.
Yeah.
So basically, most of these inmates are Muslims.
Yeah, because the government of Assam has said that don't forward the Hindu Bengali migrant cases to the FTs.
Right.
There is
right.
official order.
So now moving on to Drishti. Drishti, you are doing really good work, and I was like going through your story. It's about the air pollution in Delhi, and you have written a very detailed piece on why Delhi has failed to tackle the pollution despite spending crores of money. So can you just tell us every year this time around October, November, this pollution is the headline in Delhi. So what did you find out? What new you have found in this whole pollution scene in the Delhi?
I don't know if it's new or not, but as you said also, because in October and November, there's this sudden urge in the AQI levels in Delhi. One of the scientists that I talked to when I was doing the story, he also said that we really wish that as a citizen of Delhi and as a scientist as well, that this conversation just doesn't happen in October and November only.
Right.
We need an all year round approach to actually combat air pollution. If we go into the facts, I think my story is more or less based on data only. So according to the scientists as well, all these initiatives that have been taken, be it NCAP, be it GRAP, the winter action plan that comes in, odd even scheme that comes in,
right,
all of these, according to them, they are not scientifically backed as much as they should be.
Okay.
Like NCAP, a few scientists did appreciate it because it's like a nationwide program for air pollution. But the fact that it majorly focuses on PM10 was kind of disturbing to a lot of scientists, because PM 2.5 is something we should be more concerned about because it affects our health more than the PM10. But the NCAP is entirely based on PM10, and even then when NCAP is focusing on PM10, we have not been able to reduce that.
Okay.
So the target for the 2023-24 was to reduce it by 13%. But if you go out and look out in the data, which is also mentioned in my story, there was 0% reduction.
Okay.
So, I mean, even if your program is based on PM10, it should work. It should be reduced. So scientists believe that it is not scientifically backed, and that is the reason that it is not performing well. Then there's this odd even scheme. So Dr. Pallavi Pant, she did her research about the vehicular emissions, which is a huge contributor to Delhi's pollution. She said that we need to do this odd even again for the entire year. We cannot just do it for 2-3 months when the winter action plan comes in and we are just doing it at that point, because it won't reduce it then. We need to reduce the number of vehicles on the road. We need to electrify the vehicles more. Even the government also did take some steps in that way. It has reduced the tax on the EV, and it promised to electrify all the bus depots in Delhi. So I got some numbers, there was 57 depots that were to be electrified, but in July till this year only 18 were done.
Okay, it is less than half.
Yeah, so these are these small things where the government is falling back, where these initiatives are falling back, and that is why I think we have not been able to combat the.
But what is the contributor? As you have said, one scientist told you, it is basically the vehicular pollution, which is the main contributor to this.
One of the.
What is the stubble burning that we have heard every year? Ki stubble burning Punjab mein ho raha hai, Haryana mein ho raha hai. Is it true, or what is this contribution of stubble burning? Because it is also contested, because many scientists and many academics from Punjab was telling me one day, it is not actually the Hawa is not so fast that it can reach to Delhi. So they have another theory, stubble burning is not actually the main cause of Delhi's pollution. Perhaps it is Delhi's own vehicle and other pollution. So what did you find out?
So it's bit of that part is true and bit of it cannot be. I mean, because according to the scientists that I talked to, so if we go by the data, so stubble burning forms 4% of Delhi pollution, right?
Right.
But as you said about the winds as well, so Gufran Beg, he's the meteorological department in the IM. So according to him, the winds that flow during these months October, November majorly. That is the reason why all this stubble burning wala pollution comes to Delhi. But just 4% of it contributes to Delhi's pollution. So we cannot put on the entire blame on stubble burning, right?
Okay.
We need to focus on other things. One of the things that I think the government is not majorly focusing on is the open burning of the garbage or some other materials.
This garbage hills.
Yeah, no, not the hills, but like even in the general daily life that people burn.
Yeah.
Again, I've got some numbers. So from Jan to October last year, the fire department got 2,400 calls about the open burning.
Open burning means like the plastic and other garbage.
Yeah, like the garbage burning that normal people would do, like some old poor people, because they don't have any other source to dispose of their garbage.
Just garbage dumps there. No, I see there's somebody like right.
So 2,400 calls is a big number.
2,400 calls in 1 year.
No, not even 1 year. From January to October, we don't have the number for the November and December.
Okay.
Yeah, but for like. I mean, that is also a huge number.
Correct.
2,400. If we go for the landfills, there was just one fire in the Ghazipur landfill. Just
one fire. But in overall Delhi, it is mostly in the residential or commercial areas. Maybe.
Yeah, 2,400 is a big number. You need to take care of that so that you can take care of the pollution in Delhi. You cannot ignore that number. And I don't know.
And why does this happen? It is just because people do it?
Yeah, it's just normal garbage burning.
That means MCD also not taking up the garbage to the, they are not as per the laws. Course. They should take the garbage and dump it in the landfill or wherever possible.
Yeah.
So they are not doing their proper job. That means civic agencies.
They should. I mean, there is a lot of things that they should, but they aren't. And the government then comes up with solutions like cloud seeding for it. Or like anti-smoke
what is this cloud
guns.
seeding? I read it here.
Yeah, it is sort of like a scientific thing, but basically it's about artificial rain that you could do. But according to the scientists and even environmentalists, it's not very natural. It's not very good for the environment also. And there are no studies which indicate that cloud seeding does bring down air pollution. There are no such studies. So it's like a gamble that we are doing. We'll do cloud seeding and we'll see if it actually brings down, and you're putting in so much money for it. You should at least be, sure about its results. But there are no such studies to say that cloud seeding does bring air pollution down.
What about the 2 smoke towers that the Delhi government claimed to have installed in Delhi? It was supposed to clean air. I think one was in CP and another was in somewhere Anand Vihar. So are they working, and what about the status of this? I have also seen this trucks sparkling water on the Delhi roads.
Yeah, those are the anti-smog guns.
Yeah. So what about there? Has there been any study to say that these equipments are really working? Or what is the impact of their installation of a smoke tower or running all this?
So for the smoke towers, there was a study done. And DPCC, Delhi Pollution Control Committee, they also, presented it to the court that they are not working. The smoke towers are not working, but they are still there.
Okay. How much money they have spent on these smoke towers? Have you also found?
I must have written it in the report. Yeah. I don't have the numbers right now.
Okay,
but
fine.
Yeah, like huge amounts of money. You have to
read the story to get the numbers.
Yeah.
She is not here to tell all the numbers. No, otherwise people will not read it.
Yeah, story is also more or less about the numbers itself.
Yeah,
it's entirely the number game. But yeah, smoke towers are not working. I mean, how is it possible to suck in some part of air and then you filter it out and that filter out air to just stay there? That's not possible.
Right.
There are vehicles on the road, right?
Yeah.
The air will get polluted again. How is this supposed to work?
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not a scientist and still I understand this basic logic, so I don't know. Yeah, about the anti-smoke guns, they sort of work. According to scientists also, they sort of have.
Has there been any study on the what is the impact of their work in last 1 year, 2 years? Because I have seen it for last 2-3 years at least.
Yeah. I'm not sure if about the year wise, but it does have effect. There's this particular substance that you are supposed to add it. Read the story for that substance also. So that
She's giving so many suspense in the in her whole thing so that people read the story. So we'll
that substance is supposed to bring the air pollution down. And that is working. It has brought down some percentage of air pollution. So anti-smog guns do work. But in a city like Delhi, where there's water crisis now and then, how can we be so sure that it will work for a longer time, right?
Mm-hmm.
You have this water crisis. So yeah, anti-smoke guns also. But yeah, there were nearly like 200 anti-smoke guns which were set out in Delhi last year.
So tell me one thing, like when we cover Delhi and we have seen like over the last 2-3 years, there has been a, power tussle between the center and the state government, like not state, UT government, like the Delhi government, Aam Aadmi Party. So has there been any impact of this kind of power tussle on taking action to mitigate pollution? Because see, if the state government is not with you and the center and the state is in conflict, how can they implement some of this measure which can be implemented by the border agency? Because in Delhi, some like whole Delhi, it has different agencies. For example, land is with DDA, which is controlled by the center. Then police is with the center, MHA. So this kind of power has been distributed between state and the center. So if you want to have a real impact on the things, both this the government, center and the state has to work together. Did you find any impact of this power tussle also on taking measures again to tackle the pollution?
Some of it, yes, because like NCAP, as I said, it is a national initiative, but it has not brought out any results in Delhi because it was supposed to be done by the government of Delhi, right?
Okay, it was a center scheme, but have to be implemented by the state
or the union territory government.
Right.
So it has not brought out any result. So I mean, that's like a clear cut.
Okay, so you mean that
we can see, yeah. But again, this like on 10th October, Environment Minister of Delhi, Gopal Rai, he also wrote like a letter to the Union Ministry, if I'm not wrong, about the cloud seeding thing, that they are not leaving out the funds for it. Like they are not
Center
sanctioning.
Is not leaving out.
Yeah, sanctioning the funds. So he had written to do it. The BJP or even the Congress, they are against it. They are against the cloud seeding thing. They don't think that it's scientifically rational to do this. So because of that, but yeah, this on and off tussle, it keeps on going. They blame the center government, keeps on blaming the Delhi government. Delhi government keeps on blaming the center government. Game. Yeah, it's blame game. It's just blame game. Right now also, like when the firecracker ban happened, center government was like, what is the firecracker ban actually gonna do? But if you go by numbers, some like 1 to 2% of Delhi pollution is because of firecrackers.
Yeah.
So they're not entirely wrong to ban it. Although how much this ban is actually in action is a different story.
Right. That's the we always know कि हमेशा होता ही है दिवाली में.
Yeah.
Whatever you say. But you also mentioned about another thing that, NCAP, like, underutilization of NCAP funds, right? What is it like, can you just tell it in a brief?
So they were given like 42.69 crores up tak the Delhi government has been given by center, but they have used only 12 some point crores. So which is like 29 to 30% of the funds only, right? So the underutilization is happening according to the experts that I talked to is because the government doesn't know where to put the money.
Right.
They don't have the scientifically backed initiatives, so they don't know what to do with the money. All the scientists that I talked to, they were saying that we should focus on the source of pollution. Correct. Which is vehicular and this open burning. Then there's domestic fuel burning, all these things which is not being taken into action.
Okay.
So we need to focus on that, and that is the reason that there is underutilization, because government doesn't know where to put the money. And if you don't know, and there's this clause in the NCAP scheme that to get the money for the next year, you need to use at least 75% of the money.
75?
Yeah. So Delhi government has used only 30%. So it is probably not getting any money in the next year.
Okay. So Delhi government is not probably getting any money for this scheme.
If they don't use it up to 75%.
So like, what did the people tell you about if there is any hope? Or like, what is the best possible way to, tackle this whole situation? Like, did you get any this kind of response from like, experts as well? Yeah,
as I said, they said that we should focus on the sources first. So for vehicular, we should try to reduce down the numbers of the vehicles, private vehicles on the road. We
Okay.
should focus more on public transport, then electric, obviously. But when we talk about the electric vehicles as well, there's this another problem, which is of infrastructure. Like you
Right.
need charging points for that, right?
Yeah, I have done a
And-
story how one kid
Yeah,
and another young man died because
of
like
that.
this illegal charging
Illegal
stations.
charging
Yeah.
stations, yeah. So the legal ones are very less in Delhi.
Yeah.
So you need that. But yeah, majorly the vehicular emissions need to be cut down by a major number if we want to reduce both PM10 and PM 2.5. Then this open burning, that need to be reduced.
Open burning is, you mean, in a
Garbage.
very it's a very big problem.
Yeah. Also about the landfills, I have mentioned it in my story as well. So there's this methane gas that comes out of it. But if you'll go and check out how much of it is coming out, there's no, like, the government doesn't have a meter to check that. It doesn't have a system to check how much methane is coming out of the garbage landfills. I've mentioned it in the story as well.
Right.
So we need to focus on that as well. As the scientists obviously talked about, they appreciated odd and even also, but again they said that we need to do it all year round.
Right.
Majorly all of them said that we need to focus on all these all the initiatives, be it any we take, we need to do it all year round. We cannot just do it for 2 months. You bring in the winter action plan at the beginning of the October, and you drag it up to February or March beginning, and you said that now we have curbed air pollution, but that's not how it works. So according to them, we need a year around plan and more research, more scientific based initiatives like
Right.
cloud seeding and anti-smoke towers. They are not actually scientific based, so we need more scientific based.
But do you
initiatives.
think that citizens also has some kind of responsibility on their
We do, don't we?
Yeah. For the vehicles part only, I have seen, like, I was going from Hoskas to CP, and I could see, like, 4-wheelers with one person. They are like, going from somebody, it's like there is only 2 person. So they can easily avoid this 4-wheeler to, and it's not even in the, it's not even hot sun, like, it is not even in the evening or afternoon, it's at night around 7-8. So I can see that. And of course, but when we talk about the public transport, and of course Delhi has some kind of better in terms of other cities because it has a well networked metro. But in case of public buses,
yeah,
its condition is
Horrible.
worst. Only the new electric buses are in a somehow better condition, but others, like all those CNG vehicles, are in a very worse condition. You can't even, like, it's like they don't have proper, where some seats are not even there, like, it's a very poorly maintained state.
Yeah, so as I was telling you about Pallavi Pant, she also said this. To combat vehicular emissions, you need great public transport system.
Right.
And we don't know how much longer that's going to take, for just electrifying the buses, which was supposed to happen. To electrify 57, we have done just like 18.
Yeah.
It's just a drag-on game, I think.
Yeah, and like, because there is a political tussle also, it also delays the whole thing. Even if it doesn't stop maybe, but it delays. It will take time. If it if it should have taken 1 month, it could now take 6 months. That's the problem. So this is the Delhi pollution story that Drishti has done. So we'll plug it here so that everybody can read it. But it is only for subscribers.
Yes.
And you have to
pay.
subscribe to read her story, because we at Newslaundry don't take any advertisements from any corporates. We rely on you for our reporting, because and of course this kind of long form reporting takes a lot of time, resources and money, and your subscription, your one subscription can contribute to towards this independent journalism that we at Newslaundry do. So Drishti, we are at the last phase of this podcast. So tell us your recommendation for this week.
I'll recommend something that I've already read. It's called Hippie. It's a book by Paulo Coelho. He's a Brazilian Portuguese writer. It's amazing book. It's sort of his story only, his life story, how he lived. But we all have this very prejudiced notion of a hippie, right? When you'll read this book, that'll change.
Hippie, you mean the hippies of 1960s?
Yeah, sort of that. I don't
Yeah.
want to like
Okay.
bring out a lot of the book, but yeah, it's an amazing book. He's an amazing writer. You will just fall in love with him. He's one of my favorites. So
Okay.
yeah, I'll recommend that book.
So, Rokibuz, what is your recommendation for this week? Do you have any recommendation for our audience?
As a journalist and someone who follows the world affairs or the current affairs in the world, so what is being done to the people in Palestine or in Gaza, it's very the horrific videos emerging every day. It's been just 1 year. There is ongoing genocide, and like the way the people are being killed and the way these children are being treated. So I would just suggest to watch some of the films on the struggle of Palestine. So there is one non-profit organization, Palestine Film Institute, and they have initiated started an initiative called provoked narratives. They have listed some films which talks about the struggle of Palestine and their grief, their struggle, their resistance between 1967 and some 1984. And how they are reacting to this whole kind of occupation by the Israel government. So I would suggest that people they can watch these films, which have been it's for everyone. It's free, and they can watch these films to understand the struggle of the Palestinian people.
Where can we watch this?
It's in the website of the Palestine Film Institute.
Okay.
And so if you just Google it, Palestine Film Institute with the title that Provoked Narratives. So it's
Provoked Narratives.
Yeah, Provoked Narratives.
Okay. So my recommendation for the week is it's a report from Reporters Collective. Its headline is Modi government's produces spurious expert opinion to remove health warning on fortified rice. It's by Sigires Jalihal. Is a very nice reporter. He has done very good reporting, and this is also interesting report. Who is interested in the policies, government policy, public policies, and investigative journalism. It's a very good report. So I would like to recommend that. So Rokibuz, thank you for joining us. It's nice speaking to you. You have given you told us very interesting insight into what is the impact of the judgment on the citizenship crisis in the state, and you have given us very new insight how inmates in detention camp has been increasing over after the government that notice from the state government. So it was nice speaking to you. Thank you for joining us, Rokibuz. Thank you.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, thank you. With this podcast is adjourned.
Journalism at Newslaundry is powered by the public, because when the public pays, the public is served. Visit newslaundry.com/subscription and pick a payment plan of your choice. Pay to keep news free and independent. Your future, and indeed the future of democracy, depends on it.